Hey everyone, in this video we will try to make a registration form using Tkinter. There is nothing to be explained about it as done in some of the last Tkinter applications. It is just assembling all that we have learned in Tkinter. This is more like a practice session. So let's get started with the code right away. From Tkinter import star and also import Tkinter.messagebox. Now I'll add my window root equals tk. Also, I'll set a specific size of the window. Let it be 500 into 500. I will put that in inverted commas. The form looks cleaner this way. Moreover, it's been long we have used place to position objects. Mentioning the window size lets me manage coordinates easily. Then I'll also give in a title. I'll write root dot title registration form. Since we are making a registration form, it would be registration form. Cool. Also, let me give my form a little background. So I'll write root.config background equals hash ff6f0. Now this should be in inverted commas. Also, this is a light shade of pink. You can also pick any random colors from color picker. Now I will make a very simple registration form. It will have 5 entry fields, 2 for the complete name, first and last name, then a date of birth field, a country field from which country the user belongs, which will be a drop list, a language selection checkbox, and a radio button for gender selection. Okay. So I'll just quickly declare all my 5 variables as string variables, and if you cannot recall what string variables were, they were usually used with the widgets entry and label. Since there are going to be many entries, I would make use of string var to manage them effectively. I will not give in any arguments as they are directly contained in the master window. So first name fn equals string var brackets. Last name ln equals string var again. DOP, the date of birth, equals string var. Variable equals string var, var. Var C1 equals Java. This would be our checkbox 1 for the language selection. Var 2 equals Python. Var C3 equals C++. And then a radio variable, again a string var. This var variable would be used for country, and okay. I would also like this information to be displayed later on the console after I've submitted the registration form. So I'll have a function for that. I'll write def print entry brackets and colon. First equals fn dot get. So first would be my first name variable. You can take any variables, that's not a problem. And then for the last name, I'll write second equals ln dot get. dob1 equals dob dot get. Variable 1 equals variable dot get. Var 3 equals var c1. Var 3 equals var c2. Var 3 equals var c3. Now these 3 were repeated because you would be selecting something from the checkbox, only one option, and accordingly the option would be fed in later on. Okay, Now I'll have my variable 4 equals radio underscore var dot get. Cool. Now I'll just print it. So how I'll print it, just follow along. You know this already. I'll write print f. The full name is first in curly braces and second in curly braces with a space in between. Then print f your age is DOB1 in curly braces again, and print f your country is in curly braces variable 1. Then again print f your selected programming language is variable 3 in curly braces again, and print f your gender is in curly braces variable 4. Now I'd be calling this function when I'd be done with my form filling. So I'll also have this Tkinter.messagebox.showInfo just to give the user a pop-up that your form has been filled. So as the message, I'll write congratulations. This would be the heading of the pop-up box, the message box. And the message displayed in the box would be user has successfully signed up. Now I'll start with the labels, the text things, and the entry fields. So let's start with the heading. I'll have a heading registration form. So I'll have a variable heading equals label. Where do I want it? I want it on root, the window I have, and text would be registration form. Let me decorate it a little. So I'll write relief equals solid, width equals 20, font Arial 19 and bold. Foreground is hash B30047 and background is hash FFE6F0. Now I'll place the heading, heading.place, x equals 90, y equals 10. Fine. Then for the first name, I'll have a variable f name equals label. It's just the text, not the entry field right now. So label and root. Text equals first name and colon. Width equals 20. Font equals bold 10. Background equals FFE6F0. Fine. Now I'll place it. fname.place. X equals 80. Y equals 70. Fine. Then for the entry field of the first name, I'll write efname equals entry root text var equals fn. Okay. Now fn was the string variable that we declared above. I hope you remember. This is how we have used it. And I'll place it. I need to place the entry field also. So it should be on the same y-axis. And so I'll write efname.place. X equals 240, y equals 70. Now very similarly for the last name, lname equals label, root, text equals last name colon, Width equals 20, font equals bold 10, background equals again hash FF E6 F0. So I'll place it lname.place x equals 80, y equals 120. Now the entry field for the last name, I'll just copy it from above and change the text bar equals ln. Then I'll pack it. Again, I'll just copy it. The last entry field, x-axis would be same, y coordinate would be 120 now. Fine. Then moving on to the date of birth label and entry, I'll have date equals label, root comma text equals dob, width equals 20, font equals bold and 10. Background again would be FFE6F0. And I'll place this, I'll write date.place, x equals 80, y equals 170. Fine, then the entry field, EDOB equals entry, root, and text bar equals DOB. Now I'll place it EDOB.place, x equals 240, y equals 170. Fine. Now I'll have the country, and that would be your drop down list. So first the label, country equals label. Where do I want this? I want it on the window, so I'll write root. So the text would be country, of course. Text equals country. Width equals 20, font equals bold 10, foreground equals FFE6F0. You can just copy it from above and change the text part, and country.place, x equals 75, y equals 220. Now I'll give in a list for the drop down box, and let's have the list now. List equals, let me give in some names of country: Nepal, India, America, China, Canada, Japan, South Africa, and you can give in names of any countries and a lot more countries. And I'll just make it a drop down list. Now how do we do it? So drop list equals option menu. It's again a Tkinter function, and root and variable. Variable would save the value of the list, whatever was selected, and where the values would be selected from the list. So star list. Fine. Now to set the value, I'll write var.set select country. Okay. Now drop list.config. Since the drop list values, that is var, can change, so I need to configure the drop list. And I'll just give in the width equals 15. So I'll just place it, drop list.place, x equals 238, y equals 220. Now again I'll have a label for the language. Language equals label, root, text equals programming language, width equals 20, font bold and 10, background same as above, FFE6F0. And I'll place this variable language.place, x equals 95 and y equals 270. Fine. Now I'll have the check buttons. C1 equals check button, root, text equals Java, variable equals var_c1 dot place. Now here I'd be placing this all together without taking it separately. And x equals 235, y equals 270. Just copy this entire statement twice because we have two more check buttons. Text would be Python for the second one, C2, and where variable would be var_c2, and I'll place it somewhere else, that is x equals 290 and y equals 270. Similarly for C++, var_c3, and I'll change the x coordinates also. Fine. Now for the gender, I'll have the label. I'll just copy it from above because everything is same. Just need to change the text, that is gender. Otherwise width, font and background color, they all are same. And I'll place it somewhere else. I'll write gender dot place, x equals 73, y equals 320. Fine. Now for gender, I'll have radio buttons. I can have male and female. So R1 equals radio button, root, text equals male, variable equals radio underscore var, value equals male, dot place, x equals 230, comma, y equals 320. Copy the same R1, make it R2, and text would be female. Also, the value would change to female, and x coordinate would change to 290. Fine. So I had all my 5 entries, and I'll have 2 buttons now, one to quit and another for submitting the form. So I'll have submit equals button, root, text equals submit, width equals 12, background equals FF 4D94, foreground let it be white, command equals print entry, and I'll place it x equals 130, y equals 400. I'll have the quit button, so quit equals button, root, comma, text equals quit, width equals 12, background and foreground same as above, and command would be exit, and I'll place it x equals 280, comma, y equals 400, and I'll call in the main loop to root dot main loop. It's good to go now. We should not have any problem in the code. Let's run this and check it. So I have the window, the registration form. I'll just quickly fill in some details. You can see the labels and the entry fields. For the first name, I can fill in person 1. For last name, I can fill in last name. Date of birth can be 12/04/1999. 2001. I can select some country. See, there's a drop list. And let me select Canada. Programming language, let it be Python. Gender, I'll click on male and I'll submit. So I have this pop-up box, the message box. Congratulations, user has successfully signed up. When I click on submit, I have this printed on the console. So this was it about the program. Thank you.